Being the Philharmonic, which New York Philharmonic is historic, being the first that orchestra's first principal player. Talk about that a little bit and the kind of racism because you're performing to get into something, but they see you, and in their mind, what does an orchestra person look like? It's usually not us, and you're the first. So clearly, there had to be some great people before you. How hard was that to get in, and what did you have to break through to get in?
Yeah, I'm the third member of the orchestra that's black. And the first was a violinist, Sanford Allen. The second was Jerome Ashby, who was an associate principal horn player in the orchestra, who passed away before I joined the orchestra. And now it's me for the last 6 years. And this is out of 175 years history. So what you have to, the deep dive is that classical music was from the Western European tradition in America. And those traditions were brought up in America's time of racist segregation and racism. So you have an organization that was founded on playing white European music in America. So the orchestras didn't diversify till maybe the late 60s, late 70s even, as far as women and as far as allowing other people, women in any kind of minorities, I guess you'd call them, to be in the orchestra. So that's already like 1970, 1980, and even into 1990s, a lot of orchestras weren't very diverse and still aren't. So you have this history of racism in our country that has prevented most people, great musicians of black ancestry, African ancestry, from participating in that music for the majority of the time that these orchestras have been in existence. So, now we look at the present and we're trying to change things. We have to say, okay, let's look around. How come there's only one musician on the stage, right? So orchestras are aware of it now. Orchestras are trying to say, okay, what can we do to attract people? What can we do to keep people? What can we do to audition? Because the audition process is like 100 people. You play for 5 minutes, and then they either say your number or they don't, So the barrier to entry is extremely high, and there's a lot of conversations about access and getting people not to be blocked from participating in that process because of the history of discrimination.
Right. So, but to be a principal, you're the first principal. There were two others before you, but you're the first principal. What does that even mean?
Yeah, that means that when you go to the Philharmonic in 2021, when it opens up again, you go to the Philharmonic and you'll hear the orchestra play, and there'll be a clarinet sound, and that clarinet sound will be me playing a solo over the whole orchestra while the orchestra is playing. So that's what it means. It's only 4 people, and I'll tell you how difficult it is and why I do take the responsibility as the representative of the Black community to be proud of what I accomplished, and also know that I represent for all those kids that are coming to that concert and see me up there. But my predecessor was there for 60 years.
60.
60.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, the spots don't open very often. It's not like they have like a bunch of people rolling through the Philharmonic, different people at different times. They stay there for like 50 years.